threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Well, we got power now, Cam.
We should have cowboy hats on.
Yeah, we should. Why?
Just talking about Texas.
Oh, talking about Texas. Okay. I just didn't know if, you just felt like wearing cowboy
the music,
hats.
too.
The music's great, yeah. Cameron, we're excited to be here. It's Thursday. It's the greatest day of the week.
It is.
For all of you out there. What are we talking about on today's podcast?
We're talking about preparedness.
Yep.
And being preppers. And
yeah.
Now, we figured since the huge mess that just happened to Texas and is still happening.
Yeah.
That we would talk about
that
power outage and how to deal with it and how to take care of it.
It's something that it's good, like blackouts and power outage. It's good to go over it every few, you know, just every few, because you want to make sure that you're up on all the new stuff.
Well, it brought a lot of it. Like people started getting serious about buying generators and stuff around here even.
They did for sure, yeah.
We have a lot of tie to Texas because a ton of people leave town to go work in the oil field in Texas because it's been dead here. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of folk in our town are affected by the Texas massacre of storm.
Texas, yep.
So,
exactly.
Anyways, it's kind of hit close to home for a lot of people here. So
we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But first, I got to tell you about BattleBox.
Oh.
It is the monthly subscription box for men, women, children, dogs, cats, birds, fake birds, drones,
drone
everything.
birds.
Yeah, full of solid gear for adventure seekers.
I'd love to open a box with a drone bird in it.
I know. Survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor, survival, and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here is a sampling of what users received this month. The Adventure Medical Kit's Tri-Oral Rehydration Salts. Where else are you going to get one of those in a subscription box? You know what I mean?
You're not.
Your wife ain't going to get one in her makeup box.
No.
Guarantee it. Or the Revolt Raptor Survival Neck Knife.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It ain't coming in
It's a knife
box.
No. It looks like a necklace, but it's a knife.
Yeah, it's true.
So all this badassness starts at about $30 a month. They've shipped over a million, probably a billion boxes. It's like
billions.
Do you remember?
Billions.
I always remember when I was little and there was a McDonald's in town, and you'd say over some billion served. Do you remember that? It would say that, and it would keep going up, and I'm like, gosh, dang, that's a lot of burgers.
I do remember the little ticker.
Yeah, but anyways, that reminds me of this for some reason.
BattleBox and McDonald's, they go together.
Same thing. Curran's just like Ronald McDonald, basically, with a beard. Our listeners get a free
Ronald.
Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. That's trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
I sure hope people go and subscribe to that.
I really do too.
All of our good gear is BattleBox gear.
Yeah, 100%.
My oh my.
5
Aldrich
stars.
GG19er.
Aldrich 001-9er.
I decided to take National Preparedness Month more seriously in 2018 and stumbled across this podcast. I've been hooked on these guys ever since, although they are the farthest from taking things more seriously. They take the often socially taboo subject of prepping and prove you don't need a tinfoil hat or 6 million rounds of ammo to be a prepper. Ooh, you're getting in trouble now.
Yeah, careful now. Don't talk about guns or ammo.
If a good TV network put these guys front and center as the prepping poster children, maybe more people would get on board with being prepared.
You got a point.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
These guys know how to give a good time and solid advice and guidance, too.
Sure. Yeah.
If you want real entertainment to accompany you while you organize your Tashanka and rotate your protein, I say that all the time now.
I know.
Download and subscribe now. Stay survive.
Stay survive. That's great.
Oh, great.
Thank you. And if you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon, leave us a 5-star review, and make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
So, Cameron,
Yeah,
there's a lot of weird crap going on.
there is.
I don't know if you've noticed,
I have.
but I read an article just the other day, and it said pilot of Phoenix-bound American Airlines plane reports mid-flight close encounter with UFO.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
And did you know that I actually have the cockpit sounds of what the guy said when he saw it?
No, I want
Do
to
you
hear
want to
him.
hear it?
I do.
Listen.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
Yeah, so they
Those
saw
are kind
something.
of ramped up.
Huh?
The sightings and stuff
I
kind of
know.
built up a bunch.
Can you tell him? You know what? That makes me excited.
It does me too.
I mean, if the years are going to be stupid, like 2020 was stupid, and 2021's already stupid, we at least need to have UFOs and aliens.
We do.
mean, we
I
need
totally agree.
something to make it better. And this is the thing that I'm hoping for.
That's freaking awesome.
So, but that actually happened not too long ago over by Phoenix. So, take that.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
My news isn't as exciting, but it
Never
goes
is.
along with our shut your mouth. Goes along with the whole matrix we live in simulation, because this is the coincidence of this. There's no way it can be explained other than we live in a matrix.
Okay.
Terry Bradshaw, did you see this recently?
No.
Was hurting after season 1982. The 34-year-old Steelers quarterback had a torn muscle and tendons. So, 83, he was admitted to Doctors Hospital in his hometown of Louisiana for surgery. To avoid being descended upon by press and admirers, Bradshaw was admitted under an assumed name Thomas Brady.
What? That's weird.
What are the coincidences of that?
Gosh.
So, and there's even an article of it too. So he went under surgery, and to go under disguise, he just popped up Tom Brady, and that's
What?
So he used
But they
that
actually
name.
said Steelers Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Like, that's not very good at going under a different name if they're putting you in the paper as the Steelers
That's
quarterback named Tom Brady.
sure. I didn't think about
Like,
that. Where's he, like third string?
yeah. Is he on a practice squad?
Yeah,
What's going
that's
on?
true.
Just
That
Little
wasn't
League?
very sneaky.
Like,
But yeah, Terry Bradshaw confirmed. He's like, yeah, I did use the fake name, and it happened to be
Tom Brady.
GOAT.
That's crazy,
Happened to be the
man.
GOAT.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only way that could happen is if we live in a simulation.
Makes sense.
So anyway, thought that was
Irrefutable evidence right
Yeah.
there.
it is.
That's what they call
the
it.
best word there.
Yeah.
Irrefutable.
So, Cameron, Texas is they've had some issues recently.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed. It was on the news.
It's been
Saw
on the
it
news a few times.
My Yahoo news feed, I think, is where
Yeah.
I saw it.
Mhm.
And on the Facebook,
yeah.
probably. But they've had some issues down there with some, you don't usually get storms down there like this,
No,
right?
No. It's just, you get a tornado
Yeah.
or wind.
Sure.
Really hot weather. Mostly.
So maybe you could
Yeah.
do
so
us a solid and tell us kind of what happened down there.
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do like a quick little timeline of what kind of went down.
Okay.
Right before the storm and what turned into a total nightmare.
Okay.
So the preparedness for the Texas devastation of the winter storm that happened recently started with a 40-second mention of an impending frigid weather from the
ERCOT.
the Electrical Reliability Council of Texas, which I think is funny because they had to throw the O in there, otherwise it'd be like irked. You know, real irked all
Yeah.
or something.
Well, in that R, they didn't do a very good job with the R.
Yeah, I don't know where they came up with this. But anyways, they had in their energy council a brief, like 40-second, we got a storm coming, better watch out. And that was amongst themselves. Then February 9th, 10th,
10th. Okay.
CPS Energy said it was preparing for severe weather and possibility of outages. While it's too early to say what kind of impact the wintry precipitation will have on CPS Energy's equipment or the Electrical Reliability Council's grid. they're going to monitor the weather and temperatures. So they didn't give like a really good clear warning of how bad the storm could be, but they started to. And we all know if you're trying to completely prepare for who knows what that late in the game, you're
not a great time to start.
Nope. The 11th, the storm started to hit and started with really bad, like wide out, like blizzards, freezing. There was a massive crash, 130 vehicles on the icy interstate, 6 people dead, 65 hospitalized. In Austin, winter storm caused 26 vehicle pileup. And so the roads were just getting hammered. People are still trying to go 100 miles an hour out there.
Yeah.
But the worst part of the whole thing is people that just don't expect this type of thing to happen where they live, for the temperatures to drop, to have this really big blizzard. I think the last one that they had was in 1980, like one that was really bad in Austin was like 1980 something.
Jeez.
So on the 12th, the governor, Greg Abbott, issued a disaster declaration in 254 counties as freezing mist and drizzle occurred north of Highway 90 in Bexar County. Traffic and interstate in Kerr and Kimball counties stood at a halt due to the frozen over roadway. So what happens with roads get shut down is all of your restock, your groceries, your fuel, and all that stuff in and out has been completely wiped out.
And how many times have we talked about that?
Always.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times you think, well, I mean, that's not going to happen.
No.
Right?
Yeah. And so San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, Bexar County Judge Wolf issued a joint declaration urging residents to take proper precautions. 13th, this is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 5 days in.
Okay.
And the storms are already happening. And then the power company was now saying it urged customers and businesses on the 14th to limit their electricity use as much as possible. We're Americans. We use what we want. And as the low temperatures were resulting in record-breaking temperatures and record-breaking use of power and stress on the grid. Bexar County office, state of emergency started to happen around this time. And then the storms continued into basically what was the end of the major storms? I think it was like the 17th.
I don't even know, yeah.
On Wednesday morning, February 17th, 2.8 million Texans were without electricity.
That's a lot of people.
It's a ton of people. Restoration efforts were hampered by another round of freezing rain and snow in parts of the state. So, bunch of devastation. And the thing that just like really shocked people were those dropping temperatures caused these houses and everything that had been built not to withstand this type of temperature swing. You had ruptured pipelines.
Yeah.
And then the complication with that is not only losing your water, but the contamination into the system. And so then there was a boil order that went into play of make sure whatever water you can't get needs to be boiled.
Yeah.
And so how do you boil water with
no power?
With no power.
And
you gotta
also there
move into using fire and people trying to cook indoors and all that. That created a massive issue with.
Well, wasn't there also issues with getting natural gas too?
Oh yeah,
right?
It went to an extreme amount too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so natural gas lines and oil lines, all that started to rupture too due to these temperatures.
A lot of people were saying, well, the only reason that the grid went down was because of the renewable energy sources that Texas has 20% of their grid on.
So they were trying to be
And it wasn't
so
necessarily just that.
Turned against them on this.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily just because they
were trying to make a new system.
The windmills weren't working, because that's what they were saying. It was natural gas as well that was.
No, it was they got completely caught off guard with this, and the system just completely failed.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Millions without power.
Well, and also, I don't know if this is something a lot of people know, that the United States grid, it's on 3 separate systems, I think.
Yeah, we talked about that one
We've talked about it before. So there's a I can't remember what they're called.
I can't remember.
There's
either.
2 big ones, and then there's the Texas grid, which is basically pretty isolated from everything else.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that grid was.
Yes, it's the Texas grid, and then there's a couple others. So that
Because I remember
played
talking
into
about
it.
how EMP wipe out one grid. It's possible some
Yeah.
could survive because they're not all connected, but
Well, a few things I read said that Texas was unable to kind of like borrow electricity because of that, because it was like the whole grid is
Oh.
pretty separate. So
Texas
anyways.
was borrowing. They started
No,
to?
they
couldn't.
They couldn't
Yeah.
because of that.
Okay, that makes sense.
That could be wrong, but that's
Because it
what
was just
I
like
read.
this restore of power effort was just
Yeah.
failing, and it went on for over a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time in really nasty weather.
It's a very long time.
So one day without power in the cold,
It's not good.
Is just too much.
I had some friends down in Texas, well, some people I know of, and I was kind of following them on Facebook, and their pipes froze and burst. They didn't have,
that's what I'd heard.
didn't have power. It was a bad,
Some people
bad week.
said the same thing. They said that everybody was trying to work and help each other, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the Texans were all, but you can only do so much for each other when none of you are prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the fact of like power outages and bursting pipes, people started to resort to like cooking indoors with fire and using generators indoor. And then we don't even know the total death toll. It's like at 80 something right now. But like overall, from the contaminated water systems, the sickness that came on, not to mention the COVID issues.
Yeah.
And then you've got the problems with I was going to read some of the things that I thought was pretty freaking horrible to hear in the United States of all places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying we're great and Texas is great, but the deaths here, they said, let me pull this up. The one thing that I thought was I couldn't believe was they found an 11-year-old boy was found frozen in his bed. His
Jeez.
family told the Houston Chronicle a grandmother and 3 children died in a house fire as a result of trying to stay warm. The failure to the grid left more than 4 million total overall without power. Most residents also lost access to water, and 14.6 million were ordered to boil water to make safe drinking. So, and like I was saying with the boiling water, that's a ton of people using other resources to create power and energy to boil water.
Exactly.
And you're lacking it. And they figure, so far nearly 80 people have died as a result, according to the Associated Press. So,
That's
anyways,
crazy.
the complications were from ruptured pipelines to closures of roads. Groceries got cleaned out. The damage to just businesses, too, from ruptured pipes. Like, everything shut down. And to be given just this little amount of time to prepare for a storm that you've never even thought about preparing for, which is, the devastation
It's hard.
is pretty clear of why that would happen.
Well, it's just
they
like
just weren't ready.
It's
for
like us here. Like, why would we ever prepare for a hurricane? You know what I mean? In Utah, but obviously that's a pretty much zero chance. But in these other places, once in a while, these 100-year storms come through, and it does happen.
And I think they found the snowfall. It was like 70-something years since it happened in this particular area in Texas. And then, not to mention, does people that aren't preppers, the food and having groceries cleaned out, like not only is the water an issue and boiling and cooking food with the water, then you've got a lack of food because there's no transportation in and out.
Yeah.
There's no restocking. There's no power to those systems, so any of the frozen foods you could just throw outside. But, there's just tons of risks that go along with this. So that's why we were like,
deal.
It's really something you have to consider. We always talk about the specifics of your area and what risks you could face, but you still have to look outside of these rare things that could happen. Like Utah getting a tornado, you wouldn't have thought could happen, and it happened.
It's happened,
But anyways, this was pretty devastating, and we probably won't know the real death toll from it for months. But it was way more than it should have been. So
yeah, and so if we look at this kind of overall, what can everybody do to be prepared for something like this? And it's not always necessarily just like a freak snowstorm coming through somewhere. Let's talk about like a power outage.
Yeah.
Because the power outage was the biggest issue here. That's what it came down to, was the power was gone, and it just caused, like Cam was saying, all these cascading effects. All these things happened because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And this isn't the only storm ever that's been this
No.
devastating. So.
exactly. Yeah. So I've got a few things on power outages, some statistics and some things to think about as we move on with this. So in 2016, the average time that an outage lasted in the United States varied between 27 minutes and 6 hours. So those are obviously short-term power outages, but even 6 hours is a long time, especially if it's cold or like really, really hot, right? So if
That's
you're in
always when it happens.
yeah, so if you're in Arizona and it's 115 degrees
Yeah.
and you don't have air conditioning for 6 hours,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just committing suicide at that
I
point,
would too.
probably. But or if you're, you're in Montana in the middle of
At least
winter.
freezing to death is probably a little more comfortable than cooking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dehydrating in your bed.
100%. 100%.
Was it just this last year that Ogden had that big powder outage for
Yeah,
like
it
5
was.
days or something?
I think so, yeah.
Anyway.
It happens, man. When natural disasters were the cause of the outage, the average time increased to 20 hours. So
That's
you're
a
basically
huge
looking
jump.
at a full day, yeah. Some Puerto Ricans waited up to 11 months for the power to be restored after Hurricane Maria. That's a
Just
freaking
take
year.
you back.
Yeah, dude.
50 years.
Uh-huh. In 2017, 36.7 million U.S. Americans were affected by a power outage. So that's a lot of us. For the past 3 consecutive years, California reported having the most amount of outages, followed by Texas, New York, and Ohio. A report by Briggs and Stratton concluded that the largest cost families face in relation to blackouts is property damage, which comes to an average of just under $2,000. So
Seems a little low.
it's something that, power outages, you just got to be ready for them. You have to be prepared. And there's some like really very simple things you can do to get prepared for them. We're going to talk about those today. And the nice thing is, we talk about this a lot too. Preparing for a power outage gets you prepared for a lot of different things.
It does.
You
It's crazy
There's
how
so much
much we
crossover.
rely on the power system. And that's why Texas was just a perfect example of a
Yes.
nightmare from power failure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of nightmares,
Oh my gosh, I know.
COVID-19 is quite a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Another issue that's been brought on by COVID-19 is our heavy use of tech, going online, FaceTime, all that crap,
When we have power.
when we have power.
Mhm.
But the cybercrime has shot through the roof during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's easy for your information, click on the wrong link, click on some dirty pictures on the side.
Yeah.
And it just takes you to a site and all your information can be stolen just like that. But you can go online and be safe.
Mhm.
And the way to do that is to use a virtual private network by Surfshark. And only by Surfshark because they're
That's-
the best.
They're the only one you should be using.
They really are because it's affordable, for
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
It also will allow you to access like Netflix in the UK when you're sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
It also you can pay and have them track your email. If it ever gets compromised, a password or whatever, they will email you and tell you, guess what? It's compromised.
Plus, they have the coolest name.
They do.
You know what I mean?
Surfshark.
Yeah. How cool is that?
And they really are the best deal out there. So for $2.21 cents a month, if you break it down, you can pay just less than $60, $59.76 for 27 months of coverage. And the nice thing is it covers all your devices. You don't have a limit of 3 devices with their subscription. It covers everything that goes online. Unlimited access, 24/7 support. And the best part of all of it is that you can try it for 30 days. If you don't feel like you use it enough, then you just get your money back.
Yeah, for sure.
Go to Surfshark,
Mhm.
surfshark.deals
Are we in the Matrix?
casual preppers. Seriously, go get them. It's super easy. It's like the cleanest app out there too.
Yeah.
All you do, just click connect to wherever you want the server to be, and no one knows where you're at.
Yeah. Good luck finding you after
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
You just disappear.
Yeah, exactly. There is a link in the show notes, so go click it and get there. So Cam and I wanted to talk about what are some of the things that you can do right now to prepare for a blackout, for a power outage, whether it be short term or long term or medium term, all the terms. We're going to look at that right now. And the first thing that I always come back to, and I'm a super stickler on this, is the family emergency plan, because it's a great starting point for anything that might happen. You know, is it a blackout and your kids are at school and the roads are down or whatever it is? What do you do? Okay, so that's why
Well, it's a huge deal. Just don't wait for your government, like your county and stuff, to
Yeah.
tell you when to prepare. Like, you know what I mean?
Please
40
don't.
seconds.
Yeah.
They give you a brief little message. There's a big storm coming. Could be bad.
Yeah.
And in tonight's news,
Yeah.
so anyway,
Exactly. So start with the family emergency plan. I think it's the best place to start for any disaster.
Yeah.
For any situation you're trying to prepare for. Just get one. I really like the one from redcross.org, but you can get them from anywhere. There's a whole bunch of different places to get them. So start there.
especially important when with kids, like you said.
I think especially with kids, yeah. So obviously food and water is
Delicious. I
yeah,
love both of them.
gets me full and hydrated and I'm happy. I get all my nutrients from it almost always.
I just ordered 25-year food and water. I don't even ask what it is.
Yeah.
Just food and water.
How long does it last?
What does it taste like?
Send
I
it
don't
over.
care, food and water.
Yeah, that's why I get all my food from McDonald's.
It is. Yep, that's
You know?
not a bad idea.
Yeah, they do have a new chicken sandwich apparently.
I'll have to try it.
Anyways, so a lot of the issues that Cam was talking about that happened in Texas revolved around food and water. That was a bunch of it because the grocery stores, there was pileups on every road. Apparently,
Yeah.
like you couldn't get through them, and so that means that the food's not getting to the grocery store. That means that the water, like Cam talked about, was either on a boil order, most of it, or you just weren't getting it, or it was spraying out the bottom of your house. You know what I mean? Like and freezing as it did that.
Yeah.
So these were two huge things, and these are two huge things for every single disaster that we've ever talked about in our entire lives.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had, I don't know how many
Fortunately,
episodes.
you always need these things.
Yeah.
And it's an easy one to focus on.
Exactly, yeah. So let's start with food and water. And a really good place, I think, to start. A lot of people don't like them, but I do like FEMA. I think their recommendations are basic, but
I do too.
But it's a really good place to start. You know what I mean? So they recommend 3 days of food and water for you and your entire family. I mean, if you can get 3 days, you're so much further ahead than 90% of Americans that, well done.
Yeah.
So start with that.
FEMA was even at, like, they even had them, they brought them
Did
in
they?
during Texas.
I'm sure they
this
did,
thing
yeah.
To help.
So food, FEMA says store at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food. And, that means like not just like a 3-day supply of bananas because you can't do that. Bananas last about 14 minutes. So non-perishable food, stuff that's going to last
And
quite
this
a
is
while.
literally what I figure most people had was like this
yeah.
just perishable food and
Yep.
not even enough of it.
Yeah. 100%.
And so they get that 3 days and then they were screwed.
Yeah. So choose foods that your family will eat, obviously. I don't know why you would go out and buy stuff your family wouldn't eat, especially if it's like pantry food. Like, why would you go buy
Yeah,
it?
that pantry food, I don't know why you would.
It's non-perishable. I mean, this is what they're talking about. They're not talking about long-term food storage. They're talking about just non-perishable food that you keep in your house.
Yeah.
So choose foods that your family will eat. Obvious. If you're going out to specifically buy stuff for food storage, what is stuff that you eat that will last, a year or two?
Right.
Pasta, stuff like that. That's really easy. Beans, rice. Everybody eats that stuff, probably. I don't know. But if it is, get that type of stuff. Also, remember any special dietary needs. Everybody's allergic and afraid of peanuts and gluten and MSG. So
It's horrible. Kills everyone.
So don't.
Salt.
If that's a thing, then think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Avoid foods that make you thirsty. That's what FEMA says. You don't want to get
Makes
more
sense.
thirsty in that situation. So no pretzels.
Pop.
I don't care what anyone says. Pop that quenches every thirst I've
I
ever
love
had.
Not the greatest rehydrator.
No, it's not. But so your frozen food.
But it's not like you don't have to get like.
Yeah.
That was the one thing in the pandemic that I was like, man, all the good stuff's like getting wiped out.
All the good stuff.
I want some snacks.
Where's the good stuff?
I want the snacks.
Guys, where's all
I
the
remember
good?
paying like $6 for 4 cans of that little Italian soda.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I need some good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All the
Yep.
regular cheap crap was gone.
So your frozen food in your freezer is probably going to stay good for at least 24 hours if the power goes out.
Right.
But that is it's
If you're in a Texas, at least you have a way to back up, freeze your stuff.
exactly. But that is varies depending on how often you open that thing. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's in my house, my kids have it open 24/7. I mean, I'm just paying really to cool the whole entire kitchen because it's just always open.
It's true.
So keep the door shut as much as possible. And also, the fuller that your freezer is, the longer it's
Yeah.
going to stay frozen and good.
And
So
less power usage.
so the more stuff you put in there, the better off you are. So just get it stocked up, man. Fill that sucker up. a thing that a lot of people suggest to do is at the bottom of your freezer, if you have like, the big chest freezers, get a bunch of bottles of water, like jugs of water, fill them almost to the top, not all the way, freeze them, put them in the bottom. That will help keep it cooler for longer. And then when it does thaw out,
ice box.
you have water. You have a bunch of clean water.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. So
I have
think
a
about
hard
that.
enough time fitting all the food in there.
I can't. Mine's so full,
so
dude.
I can't put any
I
water in
can't
there.
either. Yeah, mine.
But
Both of mine.
But it's a good idea.
It is a good idea. The fridge is a different story. It's going to stay cold for at least 4 hours. I mean, I would think it's probably going to be more than that if you are opening it constantly, but that's kind of like the basic outline that they say. Make sure that you have and that you store food that doesn't need to be cooked because, again, a lot of these people were having issues trying to cook because there was no power or there was no natural gas or they were trying to like start a fire on their front yard or I don't know what they were doing, but they were killing themselves.
Under their bed.
Under their bed.
It's going to be warm at night.
Yeah, I'm going to stay under it. I'm going to put it under the covers. Put the sheet over this
The
fire.
smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
Just keeps me warm.
That's just how I do it.
But we've talked about that too with the fridge thing. It's like that's the first place that you should be eating the food out of.
Exactly.
Like cooking and preparing that because you don't know
Yeah.
how long you're going to have the ability to
you have
keep
some
it cold.
T-bones down in the meat drawer.
Cook them.
Cook them now.
Yep.
That's the time. The power goes out. Go get it done. Also, think of some alternate ways to cook to prepare some of this food. That
Like upside down.
yeah, maybe just laying on your back.
Maybe not looking at it. Just
Yeah.
reaching for the pans behind your
Maybe
back.
just put some sunglasses on and a funny hat. I don't know.
Just be
Something
real different about it.
Yeah. I'm talking
I
about.
don't know how this helps, but it's recommended.
Recommend. This is what Cam and Kobe said to do. I don't know. But I mean, maybe
I'm
with
cooking a bowl of cereal. I'm doing it different.
I'm gonna boil the milk and then put in the cereal. I'm gonna eat it with a fork.
So, I don't know when they told us to do this.
I'm talking about like maybe have a camp stove or something that you can cook with
Yeah.
and cook in a place where you're not gonna kill yourself with the poisoning and whatnot. Okay.
Some people, that's a risk just normally cooking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, or like the Barracook things. that
Barrack
we've-
cook?
I don't know. Isn't that how the Barracook?
I don't know.
I don't know how to say it.
Barracook.
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 Barracook. So those are the ones that have like the little packets that
Steam
you put in
packs.
water and yeah.
So I haven't decided on the, like, don't get me wrong, they're awesome and they work really well, but those packs, when they get older, like, they don't go off.
They don't work.
Like,
You duds.
they do, but they're unpredictable. Like,
Yes.
threw one, we were out last spring and I put one in the water and it
Yeah.
was like, I was like, man, they must be too old. And I was like shaking it up. And we went over and we were just like messing around by the river and all of a sudden it's all
Starts
started.
going.
I was like, whoa, what the? So they're a little unpredictable, but
Yeah.
they usually go off.
Yeah, they usually.
And you can cook them. They're not going to poison you with carbon monoxide.
Exactly. Or, have a way to get like a fire in your backyard or a solar oven. Maybe have MREs. You know what I mean? Just think about alternate ways or food that doesn't have to be cooked, right? So just be thinking about that.
Pez.
To me, the best way to do this is to just stock up on non-perishables and your pantry and your frozen food.
Yeah.
And get more of the stuff that you're always eating and cycle it in and out. To me, that's the number one thing you should be doing to prepare for food. The long-term food storage stuff is great, but in 99% of any situation we're going to get into, you're going to use this food, not that food.
Yeah.
Right?
And that food doesn't taste very good either.
No, not really.
So it's kind of a last
yeah. That's like
ditch effort.
that's like EMP long term.
Yeah.
Everybody's dead except for me and 4 people.
Yeah.
So the short term, like the 6-hour power outage, is not the time to break into your long term food storage.
Just eat it all.
Just like sucking out of
cooked
your
it
big
all.
blue barrel of water. You know what I mean?
We're all gonna die. I'm way ahead of the game.
Apocalypse. You know what I
Just
mean?
empty them out, and it's day 2.
Yeah.
Oh, piss. Still had running water.
Yeah. So, anyways, just think about that. So then you get to the water specifically, and what FEMA says. This is probably the most important thing to be thinking about. It says to store at least 1 gallon of water per day per person for several days, up to the 3 days, like they said. And this is for drinking and it's for sanitation, because you got to remember, if there's no water, you have to have water for sanitation purposes as well. A normally active person needs about 3/4 of a gallon a day of fluid from water and other beverages. So what are other beverages? Doesn't I mean,
Like a hamster.
doesn't
It gets enough juice from the grapes.
like the spam juice. Whatever you got to
You eat
do.
enough lettuce, you get enough.
It's true though. You really can hydrate with fruit.
Yeah.
It's science, Cameron.
No.
It's science.
Yep.
But
it's true.
Those needs are gonna be vary depending on age.
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
You get plenty of
Really,
water
you
in
do.
there. Yeah. I've been like, I'll eat a few slices in the evening, and then
A
I
few
wake up in the
slices.
middle of the night, so I'm like, oh,
Yeah, bladder's so full.
bladder's
you don't know
about
what
to
to
just
do.
blow up.
Yeah.
Like, I only ate like 10.
F that watermelon. Watermelon.
Watermelon.
Yeah. So, children, nursing mothers, and sick people might need
Need
more
to be
water.
put down.
Yeah. Before it happens, if the power might go out, get rid of them. Okay?
The lights are flickering. It's time for you guys to leave.
Hit the road. All right? I ain't going to deal with this.
I can't.
You use too much water.
Too stressed out right now.
Already ate all the damn watermelon. What do you want me to do? A medical emergency might require additional water.
Yeah.
It could, depending on the emergency.
Dehydration.
Yeah, that's one that specifically really
They
needs
won't
some more water.
specify, but that's
Yeah, but
it.
if you have to clean wounds, you know, if you have a baby, I know they
Your
need
water
hot water and
breaks,
sheets.
you lose a ton of water.
Yeah, if you have a baby, you always need hot water and sheets.
Yeah.
That's what they say. You know, so that's a thing that you got to worry about. I don't know if like a stroke or cancer or something comes up.
You waterboard them.
He's having a stroke. Let's waterboard him. This is not medical
That
advice.
looks like the nerve system's still working. He's coughing and spitting.
Well done, Paul.
That's just kind
You
of an
passed the
interesting way
test.
to put it. Medical emergency might
I
need
know.
more water.
It's true though.
It is true.
If you live
You
in
gotta
a
swallow
warm,
pills and stuff.
yeah, some pills suck
Yeah.
to swallow. I'm not good at swallowing pills. I've not figured that. I'm horrible at it. Big ones, I
I'm
like.
not good at it.
Dude, I'll put them in my mouth and swallow, and they get stuck, and I have to spit them out,
Yeah.
and then they taste like, you
My
know.
brother's like that.
I don't get
I
it.
think his death is going to come by like an ibuprofen that he swallows just a little
800
irregular.
Miggy.
Yeah.
He's gonna get stuck in his esophagus.
That
and
one
he's done.
is big.
It is, man. It's like a horse pill.
Yeah.
Anyways, warm weather climate, you're gonna need more water because it's hot,
Yeah.
and you lose water from your skin when it's hot.
Hiccups are an emergency.
Hiccups.
You need a lot of water for
You got to
those.
drink it upside down and get scared. Isn't that how you're supposed to get
I
rid of
don't know.
hiccups?
The rule book for hiccup removal.
It's like the most superstitious medical advice ever given because nobody knows what to do.
I don't know. I think you sniff gunpowder and run around the house twice.
Yeah, take 3 laps around the hospital and then do 15 sit-ups.
It's like there's one dedicated book for hiccups treatment.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of nonsense.
It is too. Like eat a half a bag of sugar, and then hold your breath for 25 minutes.
Slap your stepsister and wear your undies backwards, and then run down the street yelling hippie hi-yo, and then you'll get rid of them.
Wear your underwear backwards.
You got to get rid of them somehow. There's no way to get rid of them.
No,
It just
You
happens.
just got to deal with it.
Somebody's got to figure it out someday.
Yep. All right,
The doctor who figures
Gotcha.
that out is going to be a damn
I
millionaire.
know. I'm bound and determined. All my time and efforts going into studying hiccup.
I know we're worried about cancer and shit. Let's figure out hiccups. You know?
Yeah.
it done.
I've got a 2-year-old, and like right as we're putting to bed, he's like hiccup. I'm like, oh fuck, it's gonna take all night.
I know. You're like scaring the shit. You're trying to scare it out of
Yeah.
him.
My one son got him one night. He's 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll turn him upside down. Like I told you about, didn't I?
No.
And I got him by his ankles, and I was like bouncing him, and he's all threw up everywhere. So that failed. He didn't hiccup after that. So yeah. It was like kind of when you're in that irritated mode, and you're like, here, just. And I was like, drink some water. And he
You're
drank
in
a
that-
bunch of water, and then I was like, here, I'll turn you upside down. And I grabbed him and shook him, and he threw all the water up.
You're in the irritated mode.
Yeah, bad.
You ever been so
bad idea.
irritated you tipped your kid upside down and shook him till he threw up?
Yeah.
That's
I
what
wasn't
I did.
abusing him,
Kind of sounds like
but
it.
I was like,
Oh, man,
turn
that's
you upside
hilarious.
down. He's like, well, how do I turn upside down? So I grabbed him by his legs and
I'm
lifted
a
him
doctor.
up.
Shut up.
Yeah, he threw up all over the floor.
This is
I
not
deserved it.
medical advice.
No, and
by
don't
the
turn
way.
me in for abuse because all I did is turn him upside down with a belly full of water.
Yeah. It happens to all of us. Okay? Anyways.
Okay, yeah.
Where were we?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Never ration drinking water unless ordered to do so by authorities. So, like, unless there's a huge reason to be doing it, don't ration your water. You got to keep hydrated. It's like the number one thing you got to do.
Yeah.
Okay? Drink water that you know is not contaminated first. Don't do like the thing
What if
I
I
do.
delete it? Or dilute it? Delete it.
I'm deleting
Delete
this
it.
water. Contaminated. Delete.
Simulation, could you please delete
Yeah.
contaminated water?
It's like when I'm eating dinner, sometimes I'll eat the stuff I don't like first so I can end with the good stuff.
Yeah, I
Don't do
do
that
that.
with your contaminated water. It's like,
No.
I'm going to drink the stuff with the things swimming in it first. Get that gone.
Then dilute it with the good
Then
water.
I'll do the good water. Don't
Yeah,
do that.
no.
Not a good idea. Do not drink carbonated or caffeinated beverages instead of drinking water.
See, I kind of brought that up.
I know, it's just, I don't know.
Unless it's bubbly water.
Everything I drink is carbonated.
Yeah.
I drink
Water's
bubbly
pretty
water.
boring.
It is. You got to figure out
It's not
something.
popular anymore.
No, popular.
Haha.
Right after a power outage, fill up some containers of water while you still have running water. Okay, this is a really good idea, like a water bob.
John Waterbob.
John Water Robert.
Water Robert.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Water
Those,
Bob is what his friends call him.
Water Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like cracked mine out the other. I didn't fill it up, but I was
Did
like,
you?
just seeing how convenient it'd be because the little tub head, it's kind of hard to get anything
Mm-hmm. Is
on
it?
that because it's all fancy looking.
Ah.
I don't have a fancy house. I'm not trying to sound like a fancy, but you know they're
my
all
gold-plated platinum tub head does not have the correct screwer for my water, Robert.
tusk from an African
My hippo,
elephant
my rhino
spout was not
spout.
working.
Yeah.
No, they just don't. There's not a good way to like attach. Can't even fill a water balloon up in half the faucets nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, anyway,
What's this world come to?
try it out.
Damn Joe
Check
Biden.
out your water bob spout.
Water,
attachment.
Robert. Make sure you have at least a personal filtration device, like a Sawyer Mini.
Yeah.
Because again, if you can't boil, at least you can suck.
I like it.
All right.
Sawyer should pick that one up.
They should. That's the
Yeah.
thing. And if you have a well, well done. But also make sure you have backup power or a hand pump to get that water out if the power goes out.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And that was one thing I bought along with my big blue water
The hand
reservoirs.
pump.
Yeah. Because that's gonna be sucky getting that out of there. Me dipping
Get
your
it?
fingers
Sucky.
in there. Another thing, obviously, when the power goes out, you want emergency power system.
You want
Something-
power.
You want to be able to still energize some different things. So what options are there out there for reusable power
Sure.
or immediate power? I really like anything solar because
Yeah.
when the sun blows up, everything, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So if the sun's still there, you still charge devices off from it. So I really think you should invest in some solar gear.
Go get one.
Yeah. Bunch of different like 200, 500 watt hour battery packs. I have the Rock Pals. It's like a 330 watt battery pack. I use it all the time, especially when I go camping. Like it's just super convenient because it has an outlet on it, and then it has USB ports and it has the DC port. So these,
How about the Marvel port?
yeah, Ethernet port. But yeah, they give you about like I can run lights and a fan off from one almost all night long.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, fan is not useful when you're camping. It's kind of stupid. But having one in the middle of summer when your power's out,
Be
that's
great.
like the worst experience I've ever gone through is having, it was like a rainstorm, power went out, super hot, and I was the most miserable that night ever.
Yeah.
You need something to give you like a little air and some light. But those little backup powers, they've come down quite a bit in price. You can get a good one for like $199 or something.
For sure. I mean, there's so
200
many,
overpriced.
like BioLite has a bunch of stuff too, like the camp stove, which you can take in your
BioLite
backyard.
is useful.
Yeah, in the Solar Home 620.
Yeah.
that thing is, I mean, one of the best things that I think I've gotten in my preps. It's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
if the power
I
goes
use
out,
it in my shed.
yeah,
or
even for an
every day.
extended a period of time, I can put the panel up on my roof and light the entire upstairs of my house almost.
Yeah.
With that one.
Yeah, because the
prep.
cords are like 7,000 miles long.
They're super long, so it's pretty awesome.
But yeah, so look into BioLite if you're looking for solar power stuff.
Yeah.
But Jackery, Goal Zero, Rock Pals, all of them. Amazon has tons of options.
Yeah, there's a million.
But these specific battery packs, you can attach like a 20 or 30 watt solar panel to them,
Yeah.
and it'll just charge outside when you're not using them during the day and stuff. I also like to have a bunch of little battery backups, for your phone.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you can get a 12,000 milliamp one for $20,
Yeah, they're cheap.
and you can charge like 4 phones on it and 2 iPads. So you can just kind of keep the time-killing devices, working.
Especially of the chillins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely want it for that.
Yeah.
So those are good. They're cheap. You can get a lot of different ones. And we've showed you the is it the Frog and Co. or whatever?
Survival Frog.
Survival Frog.
That thing's awesome.
Yeah, because it's got a wireless charge on one side. It folds out. It has a solar panel on it, or you can charge it other ways, and then it has your USB ports. So there's a lot of cool solar energy stuff out there. I would recommend getting a few different types.
Yeah, for sure.
As for a regular generator, definitely going to get more power output. I think mine that I have is like a 3,200 watt. Yeah, you're not going to run your HVAC system on it. Or sometimes some refrigerators or even stovetops, they're going to take a high wattage to start and everything like that. But you can go online and Google, common wattage for household items, and it'll give you a breakdown of how much power you need.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd love to go and get one of those systems that are diesel that just power your whole house as if the power wasn't ever off.
Yep, exactly.
But most can't afford that. It's like $6,000 or more, probably $12,000. But you can get a 10,000 watt. My recommendation is to really shoot for something that's between probably, if you want to power enough devices to make your life convenient, I'd shoot for like 4,000 watt.
4,000?
Yeah, because I've looked at most things like refrigerators and other microwaves, things that you're going to use to make your life way more convenient. You're going to need at least that.
Okay.
So
that's a good one.
anyways, and then they have the dual fuel options. You can get one that will run on propane, protane, and then gasoline.
Yeah.
They even have diesel ones, and you can daisy chain them if you're rich and can afford a Honda.
Yeah.
You can just daisy chain them and give yourself more power. But look into a good propane. Look into a good generator, good quality, and I would aim for at least like 4,000 watts.
Sweet.
If you can get one, who cares? Just get it. But if you're wanting to buy one that's affordable, I'd shoot around that range. The other thing is your car is a generator.
Yeah.
You can
it really
use
is.
that gas motor, and you should have over half a tank in it.
I actually saw that there was a couple of articles that came out with some of these hybrid new hybrid
Oh,
trucks.
yeah.
Like people were like running their whole house off of those
Yeah,
hybrid
that's
trucks.
true. Those new ones
Yeah.
have, and like the newer vehicles have just a regular inverter built in.
Yeah, this built in. My truck's got one, and it's nice to have, man.
Yeah.
But they had those hybrid trucks, obviously with those bigger batteries. They said like literally they were running a bunch of stuff off
That's
of
awesome.
those from their
They probably
house.
do have a high wattage.
Yeah.
But you can go, like Harbor Freight has inverters. You can get one that's like, 1,500 watts up to like 3,000 watt inverter that you just plug into your cigarette
Yeah.
port, or you just put it right to the battery. It has little jumper cable things, and you're only spending like $50 to $80 on a good one.
Yeah, those
and
are
then
nice.
you just plug in all kinds of stuff to that. So, one other thing that's really nice, we talked about this before, and like American Blackout type of stuff is to make a specific blackout kit. And I do have a Tupperware bin under my bed that has a lot of this stuff in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's a blackout kit? It's basically a kit that's immediately accessible for when the power goes out. You're not searching around, digging around out in your trailer for lights and flashlights and all that stuff.
That's the hard part. That's the thing. Like the power goes out, even if it's in the middle of the night. You're like, oh crap.
Seems like it always happens.
Yeah.
in the middle
Where
of the
do
night.
I go? Where's my stuff? How do I see what's going
New
on?
moon?
Yeah.
middle of winter,
Exactly.
nighttime, power's going to go out.
100%.
Guaranteed. So in these, it can be in a bag or a Tupperware bin, something that your family knows where it's at. I have mine directly under my bed. But it's not a bad idea to get little kits even in your kids' room that have some of these things.
Yeah.
So some of the items that you can put in here, flashlights, obviously. Make sure they're charged. Make sure there's extra batteries for those. Candles, simple power, or simple lighting, and you don't have to have anything but a candle and some
Something to light
matches and a lighter. And now you have those in there as well.
Plus, it
Headlamps.
could burn down your house.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So you want to light up the neighborhood for everybody?
That'll work.
Start your whole house on fire.
Do it.
That's really nice of you. Glow sticks, super cheap, and kids have fun with them. Even if you're, even if you're doing it for lighting reasons, it's something entertaining.
It was great for raves too. Like if you're just like the blackout starts, put on some techno.
Tape them to you so it looks like a skeleton walking around in your neighborhood. Freaking cool.
They're awesome. And then if you bite into them, it looks like you're bleeding.
Oh yeah,
radioactive
all over
fluid.
you. Yeah. Headlamps are essential.
Essential.
Throw one in there. Put it on your head.
Yeah.
Got your hands free. You can punch, kick, play video games.
Yeah,
slap
run.
the kids, pull them out, pull them upside down, stop hiccups. Got your
Throw up.
headlamp.
Yeah, it's so great.
But there's a lot of different headlamps out there. They don't cost anything. Throwing one in there, even if it's still in the plastic wrap.
Yeah.
It's
freaking
as long
get
as
it in
you
there.
have a headlamp. Or a hat that has the little LED lights on it.
For sure.
I have one of those too. But you do want to get some batteries in there. And this is a good place to put one of those portable backup battery packs for your phone, you can charge a lot of the flashlights now, like the, what are the ones we just got? The Portland.
Coastal Portland
Portland ones. They have, they're awesome. They twist out and they have a USB jack. They even have USB-C ports on them.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And they have these big rechargeable batteries inside them.
And they're pretty inexpensive for how nice they are.
They are. I put the little lantern one in my Blackout box because it has an emergency flashing red.
Yeah.
If somebody's hurt at home and you're kind of wanting anybody to come help, you just stick that on your porch and then hookers and stuff will show up.
Red light district, baby.
The other thing is something for entertainment. Throw a pack of cards in there, pack of cigarettes, maybe whatever you want to have fun with.
Pack of condoms.
Yeah, that too. Good place to put a little crank radio.
Oh yeah,
you probably have one in your bug out bag, but I would assume if you're a prepper, you probably have a few crank
I actually
radios.
don't have a crank radio in my bug out bag. It's too big.
It's too big.
I don't like putting it in there.
But yeah, they have little portable ham radios and stuff that you could even throw in there, whatever you want. But something to kind of get the ability to listen to the weather report and news. You could probably even throw some snacks in there, anything. But
for sure,
for the most part, it's something to be able to quickly get to some flashlights, have power and energy, and something to do.
For sure. Yeah, that's get a blackout kit. It's a really good idea.
Yeah, they're totally worth it.
So a problem, especially a lot of these people had down in Texas, is if it's cold and the power's out, how do you stay warm? Obviously, the number one thing to do is make sure you have extra blankets at your house. If the power's out during the winter, it gets very, very cold. You can obviously just throw those on top of you if it's freezing and you won't die, right? Just the more you have, the warmer you are.
Yeah.
It's a really simple process. It's science when it comes down to it.
I have a hard time throwing blankets away.
I do too.
I
never
don't
throw
use blankets much.
I do all the time.
Well, bedtime.
Every night.
But on the couch and stuff.
Yeah.
And my wife's not a blanket person. But
my wife is.
She's always like, "What do we do?" I'm like, "Throw them in the trailer." You can make rooms. You can make forts.
Yeah.
You can keep yourself warm.
For sure.
Make out underneath them.
There's a lot of things you can do with them.
So.
And that's the thing. And then also those blankets, you can put them up into the windows to keep it warmer there. You can put them over doors to keep it warmer. Because a lot of times you may have to actually cordon off one room to kind of stay in if it's that cold. And so you can use all those blankets.
In them.
Yeah, dead bodies, live bodies, almost dead bodies. There's a lot of things you can do with those. Mm-hmm. Put up a tent inside if you need to, because that actually it's another way to keep more heat in. So get down to one room
off and
get down to one room. Put up a tent in that room to sleep in. It's just
more
body layers.
Temperature in there is gonna warm the room up.
Yep. Cam.
So your hot breath.
Yes.
On the back of each other's necks.
Cam says sex is a great thing to keep warm. It's great for entertainment and heat exchange / production.
If you're in the same room and you have kids, not a good idea.
It's not great.
That's super weird.
No, it's awkward, but you can get through it. And the next thing is propane heaters. I have the Mr. Buddy heater. I love that sucker.
Propane.
Protein heaters. It's indoor safe. It can run on the smaller little propane bottles, like for cooking the Coleman stove stuff. But you can also get the hookups for like your bigger ones for that you cook outside within your barbecue.
I just bought one from Lowe's.
Nice.
It's not a Buddy, but it's one of those big like garage heaters that
Oh,
can be
those
used
ones, yeah.
indoor.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs a 100-pound propane tank. I was like, piss.
Yeah.
But I found out somebody had said like I bought one from Amazon that's kind of like just a cylinder that it burns through fuel like crazy.
Does it?
Like it only lasts like 2 hours. So, anyways, you got
to look at that.
You want those ones with the little catalytic thing on there.
Yes.
Because they just burn forever and barely use any fuel.
Obviously, if you have a wood burning stove, that's a great option to keep warm.
wish I had
It's like the ultimate. Layer on some clothing. Just keep on putting on more stuff, bro.
Just wear all your stuff.
You got a whole closet of clothes. Put them to
That's
use.
for sure.
It's cold. Hand warmers too. I mean, I've got those all over the place. I rarely use them, but at some point, you might use them. But hand warmers, man. Candles can
And
actually.
that's what, like, I mean, and not to be insensitive to like that kid that froze to death in his bed. I'm like, come on, though.
Do something.
There's so many different things. Like, have him wear all of his clothes to bed.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's things to do, and Kobe's telling you.
Yes.
And I interrupted him.
No, you're fine. Actually, a few candles in a small room can put off more heat than you actually think it can. Just obviously be very, very careful in those situations.
Yeah, lots of fires, but they do.
Hot chocolate or
Love
hot coffee, hot toddy, all those things. Those are great. So those are some things you can think about to keep warm when the power goes out.
Yeah. Another complication is you're going to be in either extremes of hot or cold. You're going to get sick or can get sick. And so you want to have, first of all, your prescription medicines ahead of time. Like you want to have 90 days supply, and hopefully you're not waiting to the last minute. Some of them you have to.
Yeah.
You can't get them refilled too soon. But for the most part, make sure your prescription medicines are lined out and you have a plan for if you can't get them and what alternatives. We've talked about having a book to go over different meds that you could find. I'm not saying you should ever take medicine from somebody else, but in worst case scenario, your neighbor has some atenolol and you take propranolol. Like if you know the difference, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Again, that's not medical advice. And then the other thing is if you have a reversible disease, then reverse it.
Come on,
like
let's figure it out.
Work on things so you don't have to be dependent upon medications and seeing your doctor monthly. Like do what you can. There are some things you can't avoid, but a lot of things you can.
And the number one thing is don't eat like a garbage person. And then also
like a garbage man, don't eat him?
No, not. I mean, just like a horrible human being eats or something. But and also
Most of us
just do some sort of exercise.
Yeah.
Those two things right there.
It makes it really does.
It's a large difference.
Yeah. And and stock up on those everyday meds.
Yeah, for
Pepto,
sure.
Pepto tabs, cheap Pepto, different kinds of Pepto.
Dude, I could drink Pepto all day long.
I love it. I'm the same way.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't ever use the little cup thing. I'll
chug it.
swig and I'm like, that's probably a tablespoon, maybe to measure. I probably drink like 2 ounces of it when I don't realize it.
Remember they used to make candy that kind of tasted like that?
They still make them.
Do they?
The little pink lozenges.
Yeah. But I want to drink it. That's the problem. I
Probably
want
boil it.
You probably could.
Melt them down.
Oh, it's so good.
I do too. I love it. Have you ever looked at bismuth? It's all like freaky, shiny. Looks like it's from an alien planet.
Really?
So
Maybe
it's
it
like
is.
super weird.
I know. I haven't actually looked at it.
But yeah, stock up on those everyday meds, ibuprofen, Tylenol. It's all available now, and that stuff cleaned off the shelves when the pandemic hit.
For sure.
People just bought it all up. So get it now.
Another thing that's going to be hard is staying entertained, and especially if you have kids, you got to keep them busy with something.
Yeah.
Because it's cool to have a power outage for about 20 minutes. And then after that 20 minutes, it's like, well, can we watch a show now?
Yeah.
You can't. You can't watch a show
They're
now.
opening the fridge a million times. Just
No.
like, get out of there.
So you have to have something for them to do. Obviously,
It's weird if you like being in a power outage. You forget like immediately.
Oh,
You
yeah.
go and click the light switch. You're like, what am I doing?
And you do it over and over.
Like you just keep doing it.
We're so dumb. We're not very smart people.
No, we're
creatures,
so
for sure.
dependent on it.
Yeah, but books are always great. If you have some sort of light, you can at least read a book.
Yeah.
Board games, card games, those things, coloring stuff for the kids. I mean, that's a lifesaver. Puzzles. There's just make sure that you have a backup plan to keep people entertained. If it's a 24-hour, 48-hour power outage, boy, it's going to be some long hours if you don't have something to do.
Keep them away from worrying.
Exactly.
Like, just occupy them, and then you can stress yourself
You
out.
can figure that out. Another thing that becomes an issue, and it's an issue in a lot of situations, is having cash. When there's no power.
It's an issue for me all the time.
100%. I go to lunch, I don't have any cash.
We have like a theater here that's cash, and I'm always like, piss.
I know.
Can't go. I ain't going on a date, honey.
That's how backwards the place is that we live. You can't go to the theater without cash because they don't take debit cards. But if you don't have power, your debit cards, your credit cards, you're not going to be able to use them anymore. They're just useless.
Your huge bank account is useless.
Yeah, if your little bank account is useless, it doesn't matter. So keep cash on hand and have it in several places. Have it ready. We've talked about this. Have it in all your kits, your EDC kit, your bug out bag, your get home bags. Have some in your vehicle. Have some at the house. Have some in your wallet all the time. Because in a situation like this, you're going to be super happy that you had some extra cash, right? Moving on from cash, sanitation. We've talked about this in the water portion, but what if you ran out of toilet paper? What if you ran out of soap or toothpaste or deodorant in these situations? You got to be ready for that. So just have some extra stuff on hand in case you can't go to the store in this.
It's all at the store right now.
Yeah, it's there now.
Get it. You can order it online.
Extra. Or when you buy the bulk stuff, so you have a whole bunch on hand, all the time. Also, if the toilets stop running, it becomes an issue with pooping and stuff.
Yeah.
So know what to do in those situations, right? So either have a bucket and a way to have some extra water to pour into there so it'll flush, or know where to go dig a cat hole.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do something with it or have.
The nice thing about sanitation supplies is they're eternal. They don't ever expire.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
It's like once you get a good bulk amount, you're pretty set for
it's good to go. Yeah. So just think about it. Cam talked about this briefly, but communications is an issue. With no power, how are you going to charge your phone? Because your phone is still going to be your main.
I have issues right now.
Yeah.
Communication.
What? But you need, your phone is going to be still your main communication device, so you have to keep it charged up. And like Cam said, have some backup ways to do that. But what if the towers go down? Because a lot of towers do have backup power, but it will only last for so long as well.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready. So think about things like an emergency radio, like Cam talked about, and one that is solar and crank and battery and all of those things. And then the other things that we've talked about before, CB, ham radio, I don't know, carrier pigeons, all those types of things you can think about.
Drone
pigeons. Yep. Also think about making sure that you're signed up for any local emergency alerts that they have.
Oh, yeah.
Those are super useful, dude. They'll either text you or there's an app. It just gives you forewarning of stuff that is especially happening in your area. But you can also get the emergency apps like the FEMA app or the Red Cross app is the one I really like. And they will give you warning on storms and things like that are coming, and you can kind of.
You definitely want to get that boil order early.
Yes. You don't want to get it after the fact. It's not great.
I've had diarrhea for 2 weeks.
This makes sense.
Oh, yeah, we've been boiling our water. Didn't you get that text? Oh, yes.
Your water is sewage. Sorry,
I
buddy.
was wondering why you're boiling all my poop water.
I wonder why your breath smelled like that. Another thing to think about, too, is home security. And if I know anything, I know it's that people suck, and they are the worst, and they're going to probably get worse in a bad situation. So you're going to want to continue to keep your home secure, even in a power outage. So make sure you have the good locks.
Yeah, that ADT sign, they're going to roundhouse it.
Probably.
And just walk into your house.
Yeah, and if there's no lights to light it up, they can't even see it anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay? So just make sure you have really good locks on your doors and your windows. Make sure that you have home defense weapons or whatever that might be. A good option is some solar security lights. I actually saw a thing that the Urban Prepper put up the other day. Those solar lights that you put out in your yard, they're great for power outages.
That's right.
Because they're out getting charged all day. Pull them inside when it's dark.
That's a freaking way good idea.
Yeah, so
Urban
think
Prepper.
about that. Yeah. So think about home security. Fuel. We talked about generators. but they're no good if you don't have fuel.
Yeah.
So you have to store some fuel, and especially if the pumps aren't working and your vehicle is low.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't be because we've talked a million times about keeping it at half tank. Okay?
Yeah.
So don't do that. Keep it at half tank.
Have a little siphon too.
Yeah, a little siphon is great.
We had a listener that mentioned, like, when you go to Lowe's or any of those, like, home and garden places, they have those cans, that are pre-mixed.
Yeah.
Like, you can burn those. I mean, well, obviously you can burn them.
Yeah, for sure.
But then you can run them in your car or whatever. You don't
Yeah.
have to take, like, 50 cans. But
you can do
those
it.
cans are, like, 5-year storage. That's better than
Oh.
just getting it from the gas station and having it set.
You
So
can,
I think it's
the pre-mixed stuff you can
Yeah.
run in your car?
Yeah, it's just, it runs rich,
Oh,
You can
interesting.
foul it out. And
Wow.
like, if you had no other option.
If you had no other option,
Still
for sure,
gasoline.
yeah.
It's just a little oily.
For sure. Interesting.
But you could run it, yeah.
Yeah. And we talked about the
Mechanics are like,
I know. I don't,
flipping their headsets.
I don't know anything, so
Yeah.
on the mechanics
It's
side.
obviously the last thing that you would run. Unless you have a 2-stroke, then you're good.
Yeah.
Dun,
Your
dun,
pipes.
dun, 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 dun.
That sounded more like a goat. What I was doing. Goats will even eat it. Your pipes. This was a big issue in Texas. So if it comes to the point where you still have water, but it's getting really cold, leave your water running a little bit, even just a little bit of a trickle. That's going to help your pipes
Makes
to
sense.
keep from freezing, right? Open up your kitchen and bathroom cabinet doors. Let any warmer air get in there. And also, if it's getting really bad and you're super scared about it, you can turn
Have
off
all
your
your
water.
family hold on to a pipe
Yeah, exactly.
all night long.
Just rub the pipes all night long. Baby, you got to rub
you
my
got
pipes.
you got pipe rubbing.
Yeah. You got pipe rubbing
Shift.
duty till 11.
You got pipe rubbing shaft.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get rid of your damn hiccups. You got to go rub the pipes. All right.
Yeah, I every year my little sprinkling system where I have that breather valve always cracks right there.
Always
And I've
does.
tried to wrap it. I've tried to put so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
It's tough.
I'm gonna start shift work. Kids can go out
Good
and rub
idea.
it.
Good idea. You can also drain that if you need to.
Yeah.
If you're really
And
worried
anything
about
that has valves, they tell you to like open it like 3/4, so that the ball isn't
Yeah.
causing any swelling.
My balls are swelling. Gotta be careful.
Look it up.
Look it up.
How to
Google
prevent freezing.
it. Google it.
Half ball, 3/4 ball. Open.
Ball swells.
Gets real confusing. Another thing that, and this is I've been seeing is like the power bills for some people have been
Oh.
like $40,000. Like,
That's not great.
so having paper copies of everything that that's your daily life, insurance documents, your credit cards, like have a copy of the numbers to call if they go missing or get stolen, having all that stuff like put in
Food
a fireproof-
diary.
Yeah, food diary.
Yeah.
Personal diary.
Yeah.
Uh,
Princess Diaries.
yes, that DVD in there. But like all of your important documents,
Yeah.
you want to have stored away, easily accessible, because you might be fighting a $40,000 power bill. And
I know jujitsu. That shit's going down.
yeah.
But
anyways,
might be fighting.
you can have backup copies of that stuff on your cell phone.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And PDF,
Again, that's just good common sense.
yeah, you just want to back
When it
up your
comes down to it.
personal stuff.
Yeah, it's
Wedding
great.
pictures. And
So that's kind of the basics to get ready for. That's a lot, but
it was a lot.
those are things that you need to be thinking about because they're going to become.
Don't wait
an
for
issue.
that storm.
No, don't wait for the alert on
Storm's
your
coming.
phone.
Storm's
Winter's coming.
Winter 2.0.
Yeah, just get that stuff done.
Yeah.
And as you're doing that, I want you to head to the internet. I want you to type in www.tacpack.com. and I
Yes.
want you to go order a tack pack because
Preaching to
you
the
know,
choir, boy.
all I know is pretty sure Kanye West has a tack pack.
Yeah.
Pretty sure George Bush has a tack pack. I'm pretty sure the Queen of England has a tack pack. I'm pretty sure Tom Hanks
Guarantee
got
it.
a tack pack.
Guaranteed.
All the cool people are doing it these days, so go get one. But when you get it, you got to
You
put our
didn't
code in.
mention firearms up in there.
No, I said self-defense or home defense weapons.
Oh, you gotta be specific.
Ah.
Is it 5.56
Two-
or 9 mm?
223,
7.62.
50 cal,
Yeah.
22 bullets.
Yeah.
So go get a tack pack. I mean, because this is what the cool guys are doing these days because they have AR-15s. Maybe they have AR-16s or 19s or 14s. They got lots of ARs. But
Don't know your gun, do you?
but this is just such a cool monthly
If
subscription.
you love your gun,
Yeah.
This is like
Yeah.
subscription to a pet store for your gun.
Yeah. Also,
All the care.
and it's not even just guns. It's EDC gear.
Yeah.
Right?
We've had some really good EDC gear.
I've
from
got
Backpack
some knives.
that I was like, I've never seen this before. Thank you,
This is
Backpack.
new to me.
Yeah.
I will carry it with me as I go about my day.
They do.
Yeah.
And they're stealing it from someone because there's
Yeah.
no way they can give you what they do at the cost.
Yeah. Before the FBI catches up with them, go get yours. Okay, because they're coming. They got to be on their heels because we keep telling
I
everybody
really
about
have
'em.
no idea how they do it.
I don't know how they do it either. But if you put our code in, the cool thing is they're going to send you a separate bag, and that bag's going to be full of EDC gear.
That's freaking sweet.
I mean,
If you want to kick off your EDC,
Yeah.
you haven't done anything,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Kobe told you how.
Idiots.
Talk pock.
Idiots. Go do it.
Not the papa.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We don't have any reviews today,
We
which
don't?
is really weird.
It's time for the quick and dirty
I'm
medical
going to
tip.
review this podcast today. Pretty good, I
Not bad.
guess. I don't know.
Too much mindless banter.
Yeah, way too much laughing and carrying on. I'm moving on. So since we've been talking about power and cooking indoors and stuff like that, you got to watch out for carbon monoxide poisoning.
I hate it.
I do too.
It's the worst.
And you can get battery-powered carbon monoxide detectors, and I highly recommend it because
Yeah.
if you lose power, your little smoke detector and stuff up there,
It should have a backup battery now
supposed
these
to.
days.
But who changes those?
Preppers?
Every 15 when it starts chirping,
Yeah.
usually, and that's way
And that's
past
when I
it's-
karate kick it off of the ceiling at 4
I
a.m.
2x4 busted one to
Yeah.
pieces one night.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they are timed specifically to go off and warn you
I
at
can't.
2
Okay,
a.m.
I'm lying. I can't karate kick to the ceiling.
You sure about
I
that?
can't.
Show
So I
us.
didn't do that.
Prove it.
It's just I was just being facetious.
That would be
Move
pretty
on.
Cool.
Sorry.
Pretty cool.
Sorry.
Like Jackie Chan.
Yeah, that's me.
So carbon monoxide poisoning, this has killed some people during this storm in Texas. It's people just aren't educated on venting their living space, and they just go in, start cooking up storm, starting a fire, pallet fire in the middle of their house.
Pallet fire.
So if they don't burn themselves to a crisp, then they suck all the oxygen out of their room and they die.
Yeah.
Don't use your car to warm up your house.
Yeah, that's not great.
This is pretty common sense.
Bad
but,
idea.
What are some of the symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning?
Death.
Usually it's death,
Yeah.
but you actually start feeling flu-like. And some of you might be like, oh, no, I got COVID.
Oh no.
I don't want to get swabbed. And they rev the car up even more. Honey, put the brick on
The
gas
exhaust
pedal.
helps. It makes my tummy feel better.
I think I've heard carbon monoxide cures COVID.
Yeah.
Don't go.
This is not medical advice.
Yes, please don't.
Donald Trump said.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Headache, confusion, and dizziness.
I got that.
Feeling very tired.
I got that.
and usually nauseated.
Boom. All three.
All
Four,
very
five.
similar symptoms to radiation poisoning.
Is it a nuclear
COVID.
bomb? Is it a COVID? Is it carbon monoxide?
So, but if you're indoors and you start feeling
Radiation.
lightheaded and nauseated and confused, then you probably are getting poisoned slowly. Pretty creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, carbon monoxide poisoning. Is there a treatment in the backwoods? No.
Oxygen?
Yeah. So the only way, the first thing to treatment, and if you happen to have oxygen, is those rebreather masks. So they're the ones you see like the NFL players, they put on it, but they have a bag at the bottom. That gives you the highest flow oxygen. So high flow oxygen using a rebreather mask. That they found that breathing room air, if you don't get enough carbon monoxide to kill you, then breathing room air, it takes like 250 to 300 minutes to clear from your system.
Yeah, but not if I breathe super fast.
That's true. You'll probably just get more carbon dioxide with that.
No.
But with the rebreather mask and high flow oxygen, 90 minutes, and most of that clears out. And
So sit down and watch a movie?
yeah, the other little tip that I wanted to mention is just put that mask on and watch Tenet.
Billy Madison.
Tenet would probably be a good one to watch.
No, it wouldn't. Come
You'd
out like,
feel
what the heck?
I can't hear or breathe.
Yeah.
The the main thing is as people have those little pulse ox monitors.
Put it on your tip of your finger.
If you have carbon monoxide poisoning, it'll still read at like 98. So you're like, oh, I got enough oxygen. It can't differentiate between the carbon monoxide and just regular oxygen.
Well, they need to get better ones. Then.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So they are actually working on some newer ones. They haven't passed them yet.
Fine.
But anyways, don't rely on an oxygen sensor. Don't rely on your iPhone 12 heartbeat sensor. Because you can use, I guess they have apps now that are fairly accurate. It doesn't know if that's carbon monoxide or oxygen. So don't rely on that kind of crap. But moral of the story, don't cook or burn stuff indoors.
Yeah.
And if you do, ventilate very much. If you get dizzy,
do it next to
you're
a window.
getting sick.
Yeah.
And really with carbon monoxide, you can't treat it on your own. You really need medical help.
Pepto.
But if you had nothing else but a perfect oxygen tank with a rebreather mask,
that'll do it.
Throw it on and then seek medical attention.
Pepto.
And Pepto.
Pepto.
Always.
Always helps. All right, guys. Thank you. That is surviving the Texas blackout of
It already is over, so
2021.
what do we care?
I don't know. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys coming along with us and subscribing and following us on all the funny, cool places that we are.
Come along with me.
That's right. And
All right.
stay survived.